Cure PSP is the foundation for prime of life, neurodegeneration, a spectrum of
incapacitating and incurable diseases
with debilitating motor, cognitive, behavioral, and emotional symptoms.
These afflictions often strike in middle age when people have careers,
family responsibilities, and active lives.
So they include progressive supranuclear palsy, which is also known as PSP, corticobasal degeneration or CBD,
multiple system atrophy, MSA, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, and others.
The mission of Cure PSP is care, consciousness, and cure
for devastating prime of life neurodegenerative diseases.
My name is Briscoe Draper, and I have multiple system atrophy.
Hi, my name is Jim Britton, and I have CBD.
I am Edna Montano, and my husband Nigel suffered from progressive supranuclear palsy, PSP.
My name is Linda Phillips, and I have PSP.
Gracias por acompañarnos.
आप सबका आभार, शुक्रिया, नमस्ते.
Thank you for joining us.
Hello, and welcome to Hope as Big as Texas. This is a spotlight on art for respite care. Thank you all for joining us. I'm Henry Cisneros, honorary chair of this event, and the former secretary of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development under President Clinton. It's a privilege to be with you today. Are you having a good time? Hope you are, and tell us where you're from. I hope there's a lot of Texans out there. I think you're really going to enjoy this event tonight. Our spotlight on art for respite care will explore the connection between artists and caregivers, both of whom apply creativity, innovation, dedication, and resolve. You'll be entertained this evening with Texas-style music and dance and virtual tours. And as we do all this, we'll be exploring the connection between art and the art of caregiving. This event was brought together by every one of the Cure PSP Texas-based support groups, every one. And every one of them is driven by a heart that's bigger than the state of Texas. At this time, I'd like to express my gratitude to all of the volunteers that have been involved in pulling this event together. I'd like also to note that portions of the event were pre-recorded. It will be a fun program. I would be remiss if I didn't note that there were a lot of hardships on top of COVID this year, from wildfires to snowstorms to hurricanes. And much like the rest of the country, Texas was hit rather hard. And even with all of that happening, water for days. And yet they still had to care for patients with a neurodegenerative disease. And well, that's just doubly difficult, which is why it's so great to have the Sherry Levien Quality of Life Fund available for those folks to access. It's times like this that it's so important to have a community like this to lean on in order to support each other. Although this event is putting on by our friends in Texas, these funds will benefit patients and caregivers all across the United States. This fund truly provides a lifeline for people in need. For 30 years, Cure PSP has been the foundation for prime of life neurodegeneration. They're the nonprofit advocacy organization focused on neurodegenerative diseases such as progressive supranuclear palsy, PSP, corticobasal degeneration, CBD, and multiple system atrophy, MSA, and others that often strike during a person's most productive and rewarding years. Currently, there's no treatment or cure for these diseases, which affect more than 150,000 people in the United States. Since its founding in 1990, CurePSP has funded more than 180 research studies and is the leading source of information and support for patients and their families, other caregivers, researchers, doctors, and allied health professionals. CurePSP and their volunteers have been working hard to make a real difference in people's lives, and now is your chance to do the same. The purpose of today's event is to raise funds for the Sherry Levien Quality of Life Fund through the generous donation of Larry Levien and his family in honor of his wife, Sherry, who was diagnosed with PSP, a disease that directly affected her and impacted the whole family during the course of the disease. The Sherry Levien Quality of Life Fund was launched in 2017 and has provided support through professional caregiving services to 83 families so far, totaling more than $142,000 for the care of patients with PSP, CBD, and MSA. And we're just getting started, but we need your help. The fund provides grants for up to 40 families every year. We hope to be at least to be able to grow that to 50 families every year or more. Each grant awarded provides about $1,500 for in-home care services through Griswold Home Care or alternative home care agencies if Griswold is not available in a family's local area. The type of in-home care funded by these grants is most often not covered by insurance, so care costs are usually a burden that falls on the family. In the advanced stages of the diseases, patients require round-the-clock care. As a family member directly impacted by PSP, I understand the difficulties this disease brings with it. And that's why I feel so passionate about Cure PSP and this fund. And I really wish we could all be together in person for this occasion so we could meet together. You may know my sister, Dr. Pauline Cisneros, 18 months younger than I, passed from PSP. We were very close our entire lives. She was a brilliant scientist. Her life was ended much too soon by this disease. Pauline was an in vitro fertilization researcher and physician. She made it possible for literally thousands of families to have children after other means of becoming pregnant were exhausted. Pauline acquired PSP, and we entered then a very unusual moment. Here was a doctor who understood medical realities, and she was in position to know exactly what was happening to her. She could chronicle the disease step by step, and she ended in an interview relationship with a medical journalist that has resulted in a book. We recently released a book by Sarah Oxford on my sister Pauline's life. The book is entitled A Brilliant Life Interrupted. Sarah and I connected several years ago through our work in the medical sector in San Antonio, and she's a very, very good writer. She's also a very compassionate person who spent some time every week over the last years of Pauline's life in an interview discussion until Pauline got so weak that she couldn't do it any longer. Sarah will be joining us later in the program, but this is a very good narrative of what it is like to have PSP, the doubts, the disappointments, the setbacks, the moments of hope, the glimpses of life with the family. And then it is also a guide to caregivers. Thanks to Cure PSP, the book is available. And proceeds from the sales of the book on Amazon will go to support Cure PSP. The link for the book will be dropped in the chat shortly. So this is the reason I'm here today as the honorary chair of this wonderful event. I believe together we can find a cure for PSP. We must. It is a cruel disease. For the person who is afflicted, it is a cure. It is a cruel disease for those who are caregivers and family members who love the person who is suffering through it. It's terrible in the finality of it, and it's a hard way to go. We're striving to bring desperately needed care to our PSP, CBD, and MSA communities. Our goal is ambitious, but with your help, we know we can achieve it and even exceed it. We need the capacity to put research dollars into play. We need the support system for physicians. We need the assistance for families. So please give what you can. In these trying times, it is more important than ever to support Cure PSP. And with that being said, tonight we have planned an event showcasing some extraordinary musical talent and expert speakers in movement disorders. We're interspersing some lighter entertainment moments with the expertise of people who've worked on this disorder in order to hold everybody's attention, in order to inform you better, and in order to solicit the kind of assistance that we all need to do together, those of us who are part of this PSP family. We're going to be showcasing family testimonials, the impact of respite on caregivers, art through dance, the art of care, music as therapy, and for our after party, the art of the cocktail with Acre Distillery in Fort Worth. Now, I'd like to introduce our Master of Ceremonies for this evening, Bobby D. Bobby, who's going to be helping us to maximize every one of our moments tonight to ensure that we have a fun, enjoyable, and successful event. So, let's get started.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Cisneros, for the introduction for tonight's event. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hope is Biggest Texas, the spotlight on art for respite care. As Mr. Cisneros said, it is about art here tonight, and it is mostly more about hope and everyone coming together. I mean, Texas, we're big. We have big hearts. We give big hugs, and everything we do is big. And here we are to do something big for those caregivers that take care of their loved ones of this very, very cruel disease. And I want to thank you all so much for being a part of our family here this evening and for joining us tonight. My name is Bobby D, and I'm with Inspire Hearts Fundraising. I am truly honored to be a part of this. I love everything that Cure PSP is doing, especially this family down here in Texas that has come up with the fund to look and help at the caregivers that are out there that are providing the care for those. And it is trying disease for those caregivers. And we're here to do this. We're going to provide resources for patients, families, caregivers, healthcare professionals. PSP, progressive supranuclear palsy, is a neurodegenerative disease. Try to say that 3 times fast. That has no known cause, treatment, or cure. It affects nerve cells that control walking, balance, mobility, vision, speech, and swallowing. Now, listen to this, 5 to 6 people per 100,000. I mean, that's a pretty solid percentage will develop PSP. Neurodegeneration is not just a disease that strikes the elderly. There's a spectrum of brain diseases that often onset in the 50s and 60s. And when people have those family responsibilities and those careers and active lives and retirements coming up, and half of all neurodegeneration is under 65 involves these diseases. Think of how much life that many of you have left that this possibly, could be there. And that's what Cure PSP is here to help provide research and so much more to help cure these diseases and more. And tonight we're here to support the Sherry Levien Quality of Life Fund. And it's going to be great because we're supporting those that are supporting patients. And tonight you're going to have many opportunities to participate. Now, I'm very excited because we have already some donations that have come up and we're almost at the $10,000 level. This is so awesome. So anytime of the evening that you do feel like making a donation, please do. Now, it's really exciting and an honor to be here virtually. And I know that we're all looking forward to getting together next year in person, and then we can give each other those Texas-sized hugs. But in the meantime, we've gathered here for this crucial cause, and we're so thankful that you are with us here tonight. So hopefully you can hear me. Is this thing on? Okay, good. If you can, you can interact with us and say hello in the chat. That's right, chat's right over there, and let us know how you're doing. If you have any issues, for example, tell us. Tell us. Help! I don't know how to listen, but that's what that's there for. And you can also tell us where you're joining from. We'd love to see where you are. I know lots of friends from Texas. We got our friends from Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, and so many more that are viewing from the biggest state. Yeah, not that one up north. This is the biggest state with the biggest heart right here, Texas. So we'd love to hear from you. And speaking of chat, let's just go over a few tech items to make sure that you enjoy the evening and are able to make your voice heard and let your hope flow out. Now, the best browser to view this on is Google Chrome. If you can't hear me, there's a little speaker icon right there in the lower left-hand corner. You can click that to hear me. Be sure that you have their window in full screen to get the full effect. If you can't see the chat on the right-hand side of the screen, click for the 4 little slash marks that are up there, and that should be coming right down. So if you happen to close this window, don't worry, it's okay. You can hit the back button or just click the link again and in the email that you were sent, and you'll be back, and you won't miss much. So thank you again. And this event is going to be available on the CurePSP YouTube page in just a few weeks. And we will email everyone when it's ready. Now, friends, there's several buttons at the top of the screen. You see them? Yep, right up there. That will direct you to donate. The silent auctions there, as well as the book by Dr. Paulette, about Dr. Paulette, the life interrupted. And this is a chance that we can fundraise and, add another book to our library. But you can also check out all of our future events that are there. And they work best if you right-click the mouse, right-click, and then hit that new window or tab so you don't navigate away. And you can still watch us, and you can shop, and you can go in the silent auction and do all of that. So, with the silent auction, you do have to register separately from the site, but it only takes about a minute. Super easy to do. So now let's take a time to thank our sponsors, because we couldn't do it without our amazing sponsors. So I want to say thank you to All Stripes, Pathway Hospice, Luna Lena, Light of Day, Parkinson Voice Project, Belmont Village Senior Living, Griswold Home Care, and the FTD Registry. Give them all a big virtual round of applause for supporting this event. And I want to thank you all for being a part of this and helping to support the Levien Fund and Cure PSP. Now, also, I want to thank our organization that's watching here with us, Women in Neuroscience, for promoting this event. I think we have over 30 or 40 interns that are with us. They are helping promote advocacy and awareness of the Cure PSP mission. And if you want to learn more, please go to curepsp.org, and you'll see all of the just amazing stuff that's happening with that program there. So again, a very special thanks to Henry Cisneros and the Cisneros family for supporting this event with your generous matching donation in memory of your sister, Dr. Pauline Paulette. And for your participation in this event, thanks for being a part of this. And we know that you miss her very, very much. And this is a touching tribute to her memory. Your donations tonight are going to help with those interruptions that come through these diseases like PSP and other neurodegenerative diseases. It's cruel for caregivers, family, and friends, not only the patients that are there. And with this match, it's amazing. Your donations are going to be doubled this evening by this generous match. $25,000 is on the table to help us raise over $50,000 here tonight. So you make a donation, that's going to be matched, and we can do this together. Oh my gosh, we got some more donations that are coming in. This is great. I want to thank Karen George and Michael Park. Thank you for coming in, and Jan Gartenberg. So great. You'll be able to see in the thermometer all of the great. Look at all our friends. Look at that. Yep, there's Karen and Claire and Griselle, Alan, Susan, so many more that are out there. Thank you for being a part of this. And we look forward to spending some time with you here this evening. The staff, the team, production, everybody's worked really hard on this virtual fundraiser to support the Respite Fund, the Sherry Levien Quality of Life Fund, and created to provide respite for caregivers of patients suffering from the prime of life, those neurodegenerative diseases like PSP, CBD, and MSA, while knowing that professional services are in place for their loved ones. And research indicates that even temporary or intermittent relief of caregiver demands can help reduce stress and improve the quality of family. And other generous contributors like you, CurePSP has provided grants totaling more than $150,000. And that's 90 plus families. I think they're probably over 100 right now to care for the sufferers of the progressive supranuclear palsy, corticobasal degeneration, and multiple system atrophy. Respite Care costs about $25 an hour, which equates to an estimated 6,000 hours, more than that, of respite care provided by CurePSP. Provided by you and your donations and your generosity. Now, presently, our $1,500 respite grant provides 60 hours of respite care. And if someone that is taken care of, I mean, it helps them whether to go take care of themselves, some self-care, or possibly go out to the store, pick up medications, whatever it might be. But they know that their loved one is in great care, professional care. And that's provided because even here this evening, whoa, my gosh, we just made a giant jump. We just went from 10,000 to 33,000. Great work. Keep going. I love this. This is so good. And here we are because it's research indicates, let's keep that thermometer rolling. Research indicates that even a temporary or intermittent relief of caregiver demands can help reduce that stress and improve the quality of day-to-day life. And that helping these. Now, look at this. This type of in-home care fund by these grants is most often not covered by insurance. That's right. Like that's out of pocket by the families or by these great grants. So care costs are usually that burden. And in the advanced stages of these diseases, patients require round-the-clock care. And that's what you're here for. You're to help provide that hope and that care. So your support today is going to enable this reimbursement to caregivers for many years to come. And thanks to you, when a family wants to participate in the program, guess what? Nobody's turned away. They're able to be a part of this. And now, before bringing on our guests and important voices of Respite Care Initiative, let me tell you a little bit more about CurePSP. For over 30 years, CurePSP has been the foundation for prime of life neurodegeneration. CurePSP is the leading nonprofit advocacy organization focusing on PSP, on CBD, and on MSA. And at CurePSP, we thrive to provide support to patients, their families, friends, and caregivers. It's all focusing on that. And while we're focusing on better understanding for the biological cases of neurodegeneration, advancing projects that represent hope for new treatments and cure. There's hope again. We're doing this. And CurePSP is also a grassroots charity organization that, here, let me just share a compelling example of what I mean by that. Now, your charity, your donations, your philanthropy is our lifeline. And I'd like to thank the thousands of supporters and that emphasized working for a nonprofit supported by real people like you makes this team incredibly honored. CurePSP is also the main source of information and assistance for patients, family caregivers, researchers. That's right, researchers and physicians and healthcare professionals. They gather this information, they do the research, and they share it freely because we are working together to end PSP and more. So now back to the purpose of tonight. Tonight, right here, we are preventing caregiver burnout. And according to ARP, 36% of family caregivers characterize their situation as highly stressful. Yes, that is stressful. It is, I mean, think about that, of how much just stress and distraught goes upon this caregiver and the family. And like I said, 36% of that characterize their situation as highly stressful. 2018 study from insurance firm Grenworth found that 4 in 10, 40% experience depression, mood swings, and resentment as a result of their labors. When they're there providing that love and that care, I mean, those are the byproducts of it. And research cited by the American Psychological Association found that among people aged 55 to 75, those whose caregivers show a 23% higher level of stress hormones, which can lead to 15% lower level of immune response, means they get sicker faster, and making them vulnerable to the flu and other infections and other crazy stuff that's out there. And after we've been through this coronavirus, we don't want to add a burden to the caregivers with any more illness. So let's keep doing this. Let's make that. So friends, here we are at the CurePSP. We recognize that stresses related to caregiving and professional services can be costly and prohibitive for some families. Now, 4 years ago, thanks to Levien, that we created this fund, this quality of life fund in honor of his wife who had PSP. And this has allowed Cure PSP to provide financial assistance to dozens of families. Your generous donations today, your generosity is going to help us refill this fund and help more. So we can keep going on reimbursing families for many years ago. And again, $50,000 is our goal. And you saw that jump from 10,000 to 33,000. We threw in that match right there. So friends, we are on our way. We're well over halfway. So keep giving and keep being a part of that match. So let's keep going. And again, we have to thank Henry Cisneros and his family, again, in memory of Dr. Paulette, along with this evening's planning committee who have provided that matching gift. So let's double those dollars. Let's do this. Let's make it happen here. Can we do it? Let's do it. All right. So friends, let's keep going. And for here tonight only, anyone that donates $1,500 will receive a Cure PSP canvas tote bag. It's a large full bottom tote with contrasting cuff and makes the bag very sturdy to go out there to the world. Measures 21 inches by 14. And it's a great piece to show the world and again, share that message about PSP is. And as a matter of fact, $1,500 is the amount of a grant. So if you make a gift of $1,500 or more, you know that grant is helping one of the caregivers with that respite care. That's right. Care, time, love, hope. Let's do it. So, all right. Now we have a very easy way to give on your cell phone. Where's your cell phone? Oh, here's mine. You can do it right here. And you can make a gift of any amount. Now, friends, I know there's someone out there that's itching to make that $1 million gift. And there's those that are only able to, give a few bucks. And that's okay. What our goal here tonight is participation. So please get out your cell phone and open a text message. Boop, new text message. And in the to area, text, the message will be to 41444. And then in the message, just type PSP and then hit send. And after you send that, you're going to get a text message in response with a click to fulfill your pledge and by entering payment info. That's easy, super easy. And if you need any assistance, you can throw it in chat or events@curepsp.org. We'll help you out. Or you can just click the donate button right up here at the top of the screen. And again, those that appear are going to be that donate are going to appear on our chat wall that you can see to the right of the screen. And you've seen tons of names already. And Christy, Julia, Robert Ramos, Linda and Paul, Stacy, Danielle. Oh, wow. Yes, the names just continue to keep going and going and going. And we have some awesome silent auction items too. Do you know that? We do. We have an auction. You can go up there and click that auction button and get in there. And we've got some great stuff in there, some art. Of course, you can't have an event that celebrates art without art. And there's some beautiful pieces in there to purchase, some great jewelry, as well as some great experiences. So get in there. You can also view the featured silent auction items by scrolling down on the page that you're currently on. Just scroll down and then come back up. Okay, good. You're back. And we have many items like quilts and tickets and jewelry. And now that we can travel again, thank God, we also have the Pat Green VIP experience with 4 concert tickets to a Pat Green concert of your choice, plus an autographed guitar. That's really cool. So get in there. So then another travel item up for grabs is a 7-night stay at the Hacienda Del Mar Resort in Los Cabos, Mexico. Did you hear that? Cabo? Yes, Los Cabos. Let's go. The resort features spa, fitness center, golf course, beach access, several on-site restaurants and pools. And you don't want to miss out on this opportunity. It's a hot summer. Time to go down and cool off with some cool drinks and a cool pool. Now, it's important to me to share some art by the PSP patients in this silent auction. One of the artists, Mary Ruth Blackman, spent summers in Alto, New Mexico, where she's inspired by the Southwest landscapes. And being in Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, you know how beautiful that landscape is. But while in New Mexico, she studied under such noted artists as Ted Robinson, Ben Conis, Charles Mavali, Albert Handel, and Mary Ruth was passionate about her art throughout her life. She worked through 3 mediums: charcoal, pencil, pastel, oil. Later in life, she took up watercolors, and her son has donated this painting, Benito Creek, to us tonight. We also have Bratcha Turner's daughter, Nitsa Schrader, has also donated a couple pieces in there. And some local New York artists have also chipped in to help with this event. Alexandra Yabrov, using acrylics and metallic paint, mixed media, and collage to produce 2 abstract paintings, Flamenco Gitano and Le Petit Danseur. That's right. There's the art. let's make the art of donating happen here. And we also have a Tara Mormon, beautiful watercolor as well, Yellow Rose of Texas. That is so beautiful. And you love Texas, you gotta love the Yellow Rose, as well as another painting called Renewal. The piece of art signed, matted, framed, and you know what? We're actually going to auction that off a little bit later. I don't know if you knew this about me, but yes, I am a live auctioneer. We're going to have some fun in the chat, and we're going to raise some more money. But first, we want to thank so many people that made this matching gift possible. And $25,000 put on the table to double your donations is a great thing. And it's these friends. Henry Cisneros, thank you. Jim McClellan, Eileen McFarland, thank you. Amy Branch, thank you. Nancy Harvey, Carol Laughlin, Brian and Courtney Garvey, Judy Noodleman, Rosa Gutierrez, Tina Corser, Karen Kenmere, Samuel D. Laughlin, Nancy Prawl, and Judy Bachman. Thank you. And again, we're going to be having that live auction a little bit later. 2 wonderful packages. Now, to learn more about these, all you need to do is go to the live auction information. More to come on that later. Stand by. All right, before we get this event started, we want to see you in the viewing audience so you can get social with us. Show us your pictures and your cocktail kits. Did you get one? Did you get one of these cool? Yeah, look at this, as well as one of these. Yeah. Snap a selfie. I'm going to put it on my Instagram. You can put it out there. Use the hashtag CurePSP. And now, friends, let's get started. Our first speaker tonight is Misty Owens of Dance for PD. She's a founding teacher of Dance for PD. She returned to Dallas, Texas after 12 years of teaching, choreographing, and performing in New York City. Misty began teaching the Dance for PD classes in 2003 in Brooklyn. She wrote extensively about Dance for PD and her MFA thesis. She also has presented the program at conferences and symposiums in the United States, Canada, and England. Misty often joins her colleagues to train other teachers in Dance for PD approach across the U.S. Now in 2016, she was commissioned by the Dallas Museum of Art to create 4 months of collaborative art and dance classes at the DMA with members of the local Dance for PD classes. She'll be showing us that tonight and the importance of movement. That's right, movement when it comes to neurodegenerative diseases. So friends, Misty, take it away.
Hello, I'm Misty Owens, a founding teacher of Dance for PD at the Mark Morris Dance Group in Brooklyn, New York. I've been teaching Dance for PD classes for people with Parkinson's disease since 2003. And upon moving to Dallas in 2010, I opened the class up to people with other movement disorders such as PSP. There are many benefits of taking a Dance for PD or movement disorders class. Those include mental cueing for increased fluidity and flexibility in overall body movements, enhanced coordination, improved balance through the use of imagery and visualization, improved gait in walking, a feeling of community and positive unity through a shared dance experience, reduced isolation, and the feeling of joy that is inherent in dance. Most participants surpass their own perceived limitations and utilize new neural pathways to bypass the physical restrictions that are inherent in Parkinson's disease and other movement disorders such as PSP. I'm also a visiting artist at the Dallas Museum of Art, working with the Access Programs Coordinator since 2015, bringing in members of the Dance for PD and movement disorders community to the museum for monthly art lectures and movement in the galleries of the DMA. In the Dance for PD classes and at the museum, the dancers are asked to open their minds to possibilities and to look through creative eyes at elements of art and dance, using basic composition elements of line, shape, space, energy, and meaning. Together, we observe the art and define the movements, creating a dance and pulling all of those elements together. In the video clip today of one of our sessions at the Dallas Museum of Arts, you will see our dances created and performed by members of the group, members of the Dance for PD and movement disorders community. Lifting up into the high space, defining what we see in the garment behind us from the silk trade route, we explore the concepts of shape and line, using our bodies to define The diagonal lines coming up from the bottom of the tapestry, of the kimono, going from a low space into a middle space, into a high space, exploring high space that opens wide to the skies, leading us into the cranes that were soaring on the garment, moving through the sky, flying effortlessly, high and low, seeing a body of water and seeing the cranes lifting their long necks, arching around, moving through the water, splashing through the water, and the waves of water carrying the cranes and moving from crane to crane effortlessly. As the dancers explore that movement again, I invite everybody to join us as we lift our arms and follow through with the concepts one more time. Diving into the water, lifting up to the sky and opening our wings wide. Opening up, reaching low, carrying from the side, feeling the flow of the movement and the diagonals growing from low to high, across the body, reaching up, exploring the high space, and opening up with the clouds, with the cranes soaring and tilting in the sky, looking below at their friends, their fellow cranes, lifting and arching their long necks, making themselves known, and the water all around them, exploring the waves and the textures of the water, bringing us all together. I hope you enjoyed seeing our group, and I hope you enjoy looking at your museum and possibly taking a Dance for Movement Disorders class in your community and seeing the many benefits that art can have on all of our minds, hearts, and spirits.
Don't we all just feel better after seeing that? Thank you, Misty, for sharing that art with us, that dance, that movement. And yes, we can all use a little movement and use a little bit of calm. And medical treatments options for these neurological conditions are improving. And movement is instrumental in helping patients live with new and often worsening impairments and addressing how these diseases impact daily life. But it's that movement that gets it going. And a special thanks to the CurePSP Board of Directors, Amy Branch, and Bill and Eileen McFarland for your contributions to this event. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And the donations that have had happening already. We have to say thank you to Henry Cisneros in memory of his sister. Don't forget about that match. Let's keep going. And we just saw some more jump up there. Look at this. Thank you again, Janice, Jose, Mary Jo, Kathy, George, thank you. Keep going. Look at that number. Look at that. It keeps growing up. And we're close, friends. We are very close to that goal, and we can go beyond that goal and help provide that respite care for these caregivers. And they need some movement too. They need some time. They need some calm. They need some peace in their life. Oh, don't forget about that silent auction as well. We've already raised over $5,000 in that. And there's some great items there. Just click that auction button, just right up there. So friends, now let's meet the Rice University Mariachi Band. They are one of this evening's sponsors, and we're so happy to include these talented young people in this lovely event. So here it is. Take it away.
Oh
Thank you so much, Luna Lena. That's fun. There's something about mariachi music that always puts a smile in mi cara. And up next, we have Dr. Diana Kerwin of the Kerwin Research Center, also a Cure PSP Center of Care. Now, little known fact, I don't know if you knew about this, but Texas is one of the only states that has these comprehensive care centers in every major city. And here's one of them. Now, she's going to be discussing art of care. That's right. Art of Care. Dr. Kerwin is a founder and president of the Kerwin Medical Center, a practice that focuses on finding a cure for Alzheimer's. Please do this and other related dementia diseases. Dr. Kerwin has almost 20 years in experience in Alzheimer's and dementia research. Dr. Kerwin's a board certified in internal medicine and geriatrics. Her vision for memory care is to utilize her expertise in memory disorders to deliver quality care to her patients, excellence in research, and support to the community of individuals impacted by neurodegeneration. Dr. Diana Kerwin.
Hi, I'm Dr. Diana Kerwin, and I'm the president and founder of Kerwin Medical Center in Dallas, Texas. And I'm very happy to be a part of the Hope is Biggest Texas event and for all of you joining. Our center is one of the Cure PSP Centers of Care and also Center of Excellence in order to provide care to our patients and families affected by PSP and CBD that are in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area. One reason why I think this event is so important is in my years of practice, I've learned that the devastation sometimes of the PSP or CBD diagnosis really requires a team approach to be able to help patients and families to be able to navigate the journey of these diseases. And so I'm very happy to hear about the Sherry Levien Fund, and what the event today is really focused on is raising funds for respite care services and respite care scholarships to be provided to patients and families so that the caregivers can basically have respite as well as take time to take care of themselves. One thing that our Center of Care is focused on is really comprehensive care and providing patients and families that are affected by these diseases the information that they need at the time that they need it, whether it be in the beginning, really understanding or helping to clarify the diagnosis, if they know that they have something happening, but they haven't been able to find the right specialist to be able to diagnose their disease. And then once the diagnosis is made, helping them understand what stage they're in, how the disease does progress or how it may affect them, and helping to plan for that so that we can reduce the burden as they journey through the disease and helping them navigate the resources as well. Sometimes the hardest part of the disease is the fact that you don't know where to go. And so the PSP Centers of Care are here to provide those resources to patients and families. And one of the other focus that we have on for our center is really trying to connect with the caregivers to be sure that we're helping or keeping in touch with the caregivers to understand that they're part of this care triad as well. They're very important in the care of the person that's affected with the disease. And so care of the caregiver is actually a vital portion of the treatment plan for our patients, because they really often are the person that's going to determine really the quality of life for both of them as they navigate the disease on a daily basis. I do think that there's a lot of hope at this time. There are researchers around the world, and I know we have a very strong research community in the Dallas, Texas area that's focused on finding better treatments and cures for PSP and CBD and other frontotemporal dementias. And so as we're working hard to find those better treatments, we really want to be sure that we help to maintain our patients who are being affected today. And as they navigate through the disease, helping them understand what resources can help them now and what's available to them now. And there really are a lot of fantastic resources available in the community, and sometimes it's just a matter of being connected to them. And so that's really what the Centers of Care are all about. We're here to connect with any patient. We're here to connect with other centers or other hospitals, as well as research centers, physical therapy, inpatient and outpatient centers, local community resources, so that patients and families can understand that as they're dealing with some of the challenges of the disease, there oftentimes are resources available to them. And it's just a matter of someone being able to take the diagnosis, understand where they are in the disease state, and really provide a comprehensive treatment plan. And part of that also includes how can we help the caregiver to navigate and be able to sustain themselves and care for themselves so they can maintain that key role as the caregiver to their loved one. So for our basically for our center, we really focus on identifying or really closely communicating with the patient and the caregiver, finding out where they are in their understanding of the disease, and providing the information needed to understand really what is PSP, what is CBD, what do those diagnoses mean, how are those diagnoses made, how do I know what stage I'm in, and how can I plan for this? How can I look for ways that I can improve my quality of life or my function on a daily basis? And as the other part that's very important for the centers of care is the fact that there is research going on and oftentimes clinical trials that are going on around the country as well as in the North Texas area, especially in North Dallas. There's several research centers that are working collaboratively with groups nationally and internationally so that, again, we can move the science much faster and find better treatments and cures for everyone. So I'm really very honored, again, to be part of the Cure PSP Centers of Care. We're also get respite and get the care that they need to be able to carry on and to be able to improve the quality of life for themselves and their loved one. And so I know that they'll give you more details about what's happening with matching funds, but it's really very exciting. And this is really a fantastic way for us as a community to care for our neighbors, friends, and families with the disease that's really affecting them on a daily basis, ways that we can actually directly help them care for themselves by funding and donating to the Sherry Levien Fund so that we can really help caregivers continue their fight for their loved one, and so that all of us, as we continue our work towards finding better treatments and cures. So I want to thank you again.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Kerwin. And that's right. This Respite Care Fund is caring for our neighbors, for our friends, for our family members, and giving them just an hour of time to help relieve that stress and to give them some space for themselves. And the work that you're doing at your center, absolutely critical and important to people in Texas and beyond, all around the world. You're doing great stuff there. I really, really appreciate it. Now, for our next segment, they say that a picture is worth 1,000 words. And the wonderful folks at the Briscoe Museum have a painting to present to us. That's right. This is called Dressmakers by John Coleman. It features Northern Plains indigenous people, very warm, touching image. And the Briscoe Museum will talk about the importance of care and community. Let's take a look.
Hi, my name is Emily Wilson. I'm the curator of art at the Briscoe Western Art Museum in San Antonio, Texas. Here I'm standing next to one of our lovely paintings in our women's gallery. It's entitled The Dressmakers. It's an oil on linen done in 2016 by artist C. Michael Dudash, and it is a painting of two young Native American women sewing elk eye teeth onto a dress. So a little bit about the artist. C. Michael Dudash is a Western artist and illustrator. He first was born in Mankato, Minnesota, and began a career as a fine art illustrator, moving to Vermont and starting in 1977. He became very prestigious, had a national reputation, did film posters, worked in lots of national magazines for illustrations, but then in 2003 he decided to take a change and a chance and work on his own art, practicing historic scenes and scenes of the Old West, like you can see here. So he moved his family to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, where he has a studio now. He's also a part of the Cowboy Artists of America, a prestigious group that tries to use realism and traditional art practices to paint the authentic West as they see it. In many American Indian tribes, women have held important roles in preserving cultural traditions and cultivating family values. Dressmaking and beading are one of the ways in which women can express their creativity and mark significant life events. So making clothing reflected and reinforced family relationships. Not only would women make clothing for their immediate family members and extended kin, but if they were really great craftswomen and very skilled, they'd be asked by community members throughout the tribes to make special gifts for important members. And this way they would solidify community bonds, and really it would be just a prestige garment for these other members, and again, a way to connect tribal family values. So in the past, decorations on a woman's dress signaled her family's ability to trade materials and the male's ability to act as providers. So while women were responsible for preparing the hides to turn into garments, tanning them, shaving them, stretching them, doing beadwork on them, men had the role of helping to procure the raw materials. So in many Plains Indian tribes, you can see that their hide dresses were made from elk and deer, which the men hunted. And then they also had elk ivory teeth and porcupine quills and other types of ornaments that they would add to their dresses, like you can see here. Now, elk ivory teeth are especially precious because there are only 2 in each elk. So you would see they have to kill a lot of elk in order to bead a full entire dress. So oftentimes a dress was a signifier of family wealth. And just to give you a comparison, about 100 elk teeth would equal 1 good horse. So sometimes these dresses were also given to daughters-in-law by the husband's family. So when a boy was growing up, throughout his hunting, he would collect these elk teeth from each elk he hunted and save them up. And then when he was about to marry, he'd give these teeth to his mother and his sisters to create a beaded dress for his future bride. So it's clear from this painting that you can see the care and dedication the 2 young women who are likely sisters are working together to ornament the dress. Perhaps this one is teaching the other. You can see Michael Dudash had a beautiful orange firelight glow from inside the teepee that we can't quite see, but is how he illuminates their face. Beautiful teepee line in the background where Native Americans would use to draw ledger art and other types of symbols about battles and important events in life, and of course decorate it with things that they had and beautiful things. And visible on both women's dresses, you can see some simple strips of beadwork here along their necklines. While beadwork does have a shared lineage, individual tribes also used colors, symbols, and designs that were more specific and frequent to them. Trade networks happen to be a major avenue for spreading beads, clothing, and other goods, and they stretch from coast to coast and north to south. These networks were often solidified through adoption and marriage among tribal members. And though you can't see it from the strokes that Michael Dudash did, these seeds were very likely called tiny seed beads. And beginning in 1840, these little beads were traded in bulk. They're usually about 2 millimeters thin, and the standardization of manufacturing in Venice and Bohemia allowed them to produce beads of uniform size, shape, and color, which helped when you are stitching together and designing a strip of beadwork to apply onto a garment. This made it so much easier than having beads of different sizes. So this kind of amped up the production of these types of craft. And besides beadwork, another beautiful piece we can see is this abalone shell necklace here. Abalone shells were indigenous to the West Coast, and Northwest tribes especially used them in their jewelry making and other ornamentation. So you can see here, again, it's a symbol of the trade networks that it's in, sort of Plains tribe. So I just want to conclude that as we can see from this painting, time spent with family members engaging in important creative and caring activities are integral to strengthening our family bonds, our sense of belonging, and our purpose in creating a more meaningful and beautiful life. So I hope you all are able to do that with some of your close ones. Thank you.
Oh, thank you again to our friends at the Briscoe Museum for that piece of art and that great history lesson. And the most important lesson that came out of that is talking about family, is talking about how a community gathers together, how tribe gathers together to help within that. And when someone is sick, they help. They do what it takes. They work together as a team, and they make it happen. And that's what we're doing here tonight. I mean, this hope as big as Texas. And I hope that you're enjoying yourselves, but I also hope that everyone had a chance to make a donation. So friends, many of you have family members, friends, or loved ones that are affected by PSP and the other diseases. And we understand that staggering weight facing this generation. And here's some donation numbers for you to kind of think about. Now, the $1,500 is the magic number. That's the amount of one full grant. And if you give $1,500 or more you do receive that tote, but also you know that you are helping provide a grant for one caregiver, one family, to have that respite, to have that care, to have that hope, to have that time, the time for their own healing, as they're providing so much for those that are healing or going through treatments or whatnot. But yes, $1,500 is there. Now, I know not everyone is able to make that donation for $1,500. Don't worry, there's lots of chances. We want everyone to give and give what you can, because that's what family does. They bring to the table, they give, and they go to help their brothers and sisters. Now, if we were to kind of break this down a little bit, $750, that's 1 week of caregiving time. Now, the caregiving, it doesn't really always, get broken up into, weekly blocks or daily blocks. Sometimes it's an hour, sometimes it's 3 hours. It's however much that the caregiver needs. And sometimes they utilize the whole 60 hours. Sometimes they only just need maybe 10 or 12 to get them through that difficult time. And your $750 donation right now can make it happen. Don't forget about that match. Don't forget about that match. All of our friends that came together to put that $25,000 match in there. And we're seeing the numbers rise here in just a few. So let's keep going. Now, $200 is worth 1 day of in-home respite care. So that's professional comes to the in-home and cares for the loved one, provides that professional care, does what they need to take care of that family member right at that time, but then also to tap on the shoulder to allow that caregiver, that family, that friend to, step away, to relax, to ease some of that stress, maybe take care of themselves, eat, drink, go to the grocery store. Maybe they have to go to the doctors themselves. I mean, this is a chance for you to help that. That's 1 day. Now just think about that. 1 day in an entire life, you can make an impact upon somebody for just $200. Now, not everyone can give at that level. Also, we have $25. Now, this is 1 hour. Now, 1 hour. I'd like to make a challenge right now of all of our friends that are watching right now. If you've given before, let's just see how fast when a family comes together and makes very small incremental donations, or does the little things of how massive it can be. So just go ahead, click that $25 button or text that in 41444 Cure PSP, and you can be a part of this. And we'll see some movement here. We'll remember that $25 donations being matched. So 25 is like giving 50. Pretty good. And so let's keep going, and let's keep moving on with the program. And we also do want to mention that very, very important person mentioned earlier in this evening, Dr. Pauline Cisneros Paulette. Now, great researcher, doctor, author, and we do have the author of her book, the book about her, A Brilliant Life Interrupted. Sarah Oxford is with us. And what a brilliant life that it was. And Dr. Paulette has helped so many families with her research in fertility, and she left us too soon. PSP took her away from us and interrupted that very special life that they gave. So let's hear directly from the author, and please welcome Sarah.
Hello, I'm Sarah Oxford, author of A Brilliant Life Interrupted. First of all, I'd like to thank Cure PSP for inviting me to speak to you about my book, and for recognizing the important role you play as a caregiver. PSP presents so many challenges that constantly change and intensify, and Cure PSP is committed to caregivers and understands the emotional and physical stresses you face every day. As I was interviewing Dr. Pauline Cisneros Paulette for the book, she opened up to me about what it was like living with PSP. I learned how much PSP had taken from her career as an in vitro fertilization scientist, the joy of world travel, the stimulation of lively conversation, and even the simple pleasure of reading, her favorite pastime. She had been a very independent woman who'd become totally dependent. Pauline realized the magnitude of her family's involvement. Her younger sister and brother-in-law sold their home on the East Coast to move to San Antonio to be with Pauline. Her brothers, sisters-in-law, numerous nieces and nephews rallied to her care, comfort, and support. Pauline told me that she believed the reason she was beset with PSP was to bring her family closer together. And indeed it did. Cure PSP and the Quality of Life program realizes that not everyone has the support of an extended family like Pauline's, all living in the same city. And they know the emotional, physical, and spiritual price is high for caregivers going it alone. The Quality of Life program will help caregivers avoid burnout that can sometimes manifest itself in exhaustion, frustration, and even guilt or anger. Caregivers can rest and recharge so that being with their loved one is not an unrelenting burden, but a chance to connect on a deeper level, to meet them where they are, and to learn about their wishes. And when death comes, it comes not as a stranger, but as a friend. And the last moments are met with dignity and grace and release from the struggle without regret. I hope you'll read A Brilliant Life Interrupted, which is available on Amazon. You'll be supporting the Quality of Life program, and all proceeds go to Cure PSP. Thank you again for including me in this wonderful event, and I wish all of you who are caregiving strength and courage as you journey with your loved one.
Oh, thank you, Sarah. Now, like she said, that this book, A Brilliant Life Interrupted, is available on Amazon, and proceeds are going to the care center. So please pick that up. Buy it as a copy for a friend. Maybe you know someone that's going through a similar struggle, and say, here, look, this is a great book for it. And you can know that you made that contribution to help with this, that. And I want to thank everyone for being a part of our event here this evening. And thank you, Sarah, for that information you shared. Now, remember, she was saying rest and recharge. That's what Respite Care is, to help provide that rest and to recharge the caregivers' batteries, to have them come back with that much more strength, that much more hope, that much more care that they can provide. Now, as a reminder that when you give, you are helping us with this. And our organization relies on the dedication and passion of the staff, the volunteers, the board members, the committee members that help put this all together. But we also rely on you. Friends, we're all in this together, and together we can raise awareness and raise the funds that are needed. And we are getting closer to that goal. And let's keep doing this to battle these brain diseases. Now, a reminder, CurePSP reimburses for caregiver services that gift of $1,500, one person gift of $1,500, or three people coming together at $500, or maybe even, 15 people giving $100 a piece. We can make this happen. We can do this. And your donations are also going to be doubled right there. $25,000. We're going to do this, get to $50,000 right now. Let's do what we practiced earlier. If you haven't done this yet, and then there's some folks that are kind of watching, they're enjoying all of our wonderful artists, and they haven't made that contribution yet. Now's a great time to do this. All you need to do is, I misspoke earlier, is PSP. Text PSP to 41444. Again, that's PSP to 41444. And you can click the donate link right there, or right up here. There's the donate link, and we can have some fun there. And don't forget about the book. I think there's a link down there, as well as our live auction items. You're going to have to check that out. Oh, look, right there. You can scan the QR code. Yeah, just boop. Click that with your phone right now, and you can take you right to that Amazon link for that great book right there. So don't forget about the silent auction. Hit the auction button up here and get in there. And I think we're almost to $6,000 in that. That's great. And keep bidding on all those amazing items that are in there. Let's keep doing this. So friends, let's keep going with our show. And up next, we are talking to Hope Young for the Center of Music Therapy about music as therapy. Music, it affects our lives and helps us so much. And utilizing music in therapy is a great way to help those that are suffering from PSP. So she's going to discuss how this music therapy is not only for patients, not just the patients, but also for caregivers, and the benefits of caregivers taking some respite and their time for themselves. So take it away, Hope.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hope Young, and I own the Center for Music Therapy in Austin, Texas. I'm so excited to be speaking to you about progressive supranuclear palsy and the ways you can use music to help heal and even treat those that you love, and just for yourself if you are living with this disease. So let's start with treatment. So music therapy is a known treatment for progressive supranuclear palsy. It can be a holistic way to look at yourself from a spiritual, emotional being, the way we use music to connect and bond with each other, just simply sharing music and listening to it together with somebody that you care about and love, talking about the lyrics of a song or a title of a song that is meaningful to you, that describes how you're feeling when other things it's hard to talk about. When you will just sit and listen and enjoy music that you like, your pain levels come down, your stress levels come down. And matter of fact, when you listen to music you really enjoy, after you turn the music off, it takes about 45 minutes for your stress levels to start going back up. It also produces something called natural morphids in your body, which is a natural opiate. And so if you're dealing with pain, stress, anxiety, these are important things to remember. If you got music, you've got a big leg up on helping you with stress and anxiety. Taking that to another level, when we go into treatment further, you can use music such as writing a song or drawing to a song and communicating, maybe journaling how you feel, but putting on music to help you tap into your emotions and unleash a lot of those creative aspects that are sometimes hard to communicate, especially as your verbal abilities start to have difficulty. You can still use music, writing songs, playing instruments, learning an instrument. PSP is a great excuse to start to learn to play a musical instrument. Matter of fact, when it comes to treating yourself as a whole beloved person, the whole other side to this is when you learn to play an instrument, your eyes with PSP have a harder time tracking and switching. When you play an instrument, you have to read, or if you have to reach over and look at a drum, any of you rock stars out there, a drum, you have to look at the drum to hit it. Your eyes have to move. So learning to do an instrument that you have to learn and track, drums are a great one, any kind of percussion, but note reading also does that. But as the disease progresses, I would definitely recommend something with percussion. It coordinates the activity in your motor cortex, which is very important for speech, and also increases what's called your cognitive efficiency. So let's talk about that. So cognitive efficiency, as you're starting to feel foggy, or your motor planning or speech planning, your thoughts get lost more. When you add rhythm, it actually stimulates. It's like a wake-up call to the brain. And when you have more patterns in your rhythm and you start to tap your feet, or you clap your hands, or you dance, it increases the efficiency in the brain to communicate and efficiently move from the thoughts to the speech to the movement. So let's go even deeper into that motor cortex and that basic brainstem in treatment. I'm going to show you a video of Tom, who has advanced PSP and had lost his ability to stand and walk and use his walker. And he'd lost that about a year before the video that you're going to see. He had heard about some more advanced music therapy and advanced technologies we're using all over the world with people with movement disorders such as PSP. Tom had come in unable to walk and unable to just even stand due to such severe dystonic responses. In 5 short sessions, using the Biodex gait training system with music-assisted therapy, and with an app, the same music on his phone, practicing at home, just standing up and down and rocking side to side. In 5 weeks, Tom made the progress you're going to see in this video to where he was able to stand safely, balance, walk on his walker, and he finally got qualified for physical therapy. A year prior, he was disqualified from physical therapy due to the inability to stand. And because he has PSP, there's a lot of assumptions that he cannot progress. Those assumptions just need to be updated when you have access to new technologies, such as the gait trainer, the Biodex gait trainer that can hold the person up. It has data that he can see on the screen how he's doing, and it has the specialized tool called Sound Steps, which I actually developed and is being used in 140 hospitals all over the world with people with neurologic conditions. It stimulates and activates only the area of the brain that we want to stimulate, which is the motor cortex, and that's what controls balance and walking. When we stimulate that and we increase the volume of activation, you see the results like you see with Tom.
You're doing great. Big step. Big step. Big step. Side and 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 side.
So when we're talking about treating helping and healing with music. Remember that no matter where you are in your life, no matter where you are with your journey with PSP, music is one of the easiest, most efficient, non-invasive, effective, and proven therapies you can do. If you've got music, you've got a way to relax. Just turn on music you enjoy. At nighttime, listen to music that has very little rhythm, that is sustained, and that will turn off after 20 minutes so you can go into a deeper REM. Listen, draw, create experiences of bonding with your family, playing instruments, singing, even if you can't carry a tune in a bucket. And notice how you socially don't feel isolated anymore. Go to therapy, use the advanced technologies. Music therapists do gait training. We do speech and cognitive work. We do relaxation, and we do family processing work, all through music, writing songs, writing your story. Wherever you are in the world, wherever you are in your journey, remember, help is just a note away. Enjoy the music and enjoy leaving your song and your journey. Thank you.
Wow. Treating, helping, healing, and hope, all through music. Not only for that of the patient, but also that of the caregiver. And for you, I mean, if you're feeling stress or anxiety or depression or whatnot, and I mean, just turn on that favorite song and your brain can turn on. It's pretty easy. So I want to thank Hope so much for joining us and being a part of this. And that was incredible. Really hits home about that importance of music as therapy. So tonight, put on that calming music and go off to sleep and into the dreamland, and then feel good about your contributions here this evening. Now, there's some really cool things that are happening. The thermometer continues to rise. So friends, look at this. Right there at the top, our board chair, one and the only Bill McFarland, steps up and makes a donation. Thank you so much. As well as a speaker that's coming up a little bit later, Jory Fleischer. Jory, thank you again for providing your insight, but then also for providing that beautiful donation. And let's do this, friends. Let's get up there and make that $50,000 happen. We're close. We're getting there. Now let's move into our next segment. Now, this is with Leah Durton and Ponty Bone. Now, Ponty Bone was an American accordionist who led the 1980s band, the Squeeze Tones, to international popularity over a 20-year period. Okay, show hands. Who knows Ponty Bone? Yep, see, I knew it. But he also passed away in 2018 from PSP. Now, his daughter, Leah, is here with us to reflect on his legacy and introduce one of his recordings. So, friends, you want music? We have music, and enjoy this from one of the best. Leah, let's hear about Ponty Bone.
Hi, everyone. My name is Leah Durton. I'm a native Texan, and in 2018, I lost my dad, Ponty Bone, to PSP. When the team at CurePSP reached out about participating in this event, the decision was an easy one. Texas and the arts are two topics that were very near and dear to my dad, and he would be honored to have a place in tonight's program. The things I miss most about my dad are his wisdom, his balanced and peaceful view of the world, and his Zen-like attitude about life. He was not only a loving and inspiring father, he was also a career musician and a lifelong lover of the arts. Growing up in San Antonio, Ponty started taking accordion lessons at age 5, a strange choice for a young boy, but ultimately it was the instrument that he built his life around. From playing with the famed Joe Ely Band in the late 70s and early 80s all over the world, to forming his own Zydeco and Cajun-style band, Ponty Bone and the Squeeze Tones, my dad loved to play and entertain, and he did so until he was no longer able to as the disease began to take hold. Today, I want to share a video with you of a performance from when he was in his prime, playing one of his hits, Easy as Pie, in front of a live audience for the Austin City Limits program on PBS. Thank you for supporting CurePSP and for listening to my dad's story. Enjoy.
This little thing represents my personal philosophy in life. It's easy as pie, that ain't no lie. It's easier than sleeping, and look into your future, I see this twinkle in your eye, and you'll be dancing and romancing, easy as pie. Yes, it's easy as pie to skip a few pages when you're leafing through. Say the book of life, but when the angels come to fetch you, Lord, I hope that they will catch you. Yeah, dancing or romancing, easy as pie. Shut your pretty eyes, hush your sweet mouth, honey. I sing a lullaby. What you don't see can't hurt you. What's left unsaid ain't no lie. Just keep dancing and romancing. Lord, easy as pie. Easy as pie. Ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all very much. The Squeeze Tones and Tawny Bones. See y'all around.
I hope you loved that performance of Easy as Pie by Pawnee Bone. A special thank you to Austin PBS for the permission to share this video with you all. Thank you again for your support and attention, and I love you, Dad.
Oh, Leah, thank you for sharing that great clip. And friends, it is easy as pie. And to be a donor for this evening, you can click the donate button up there, silent auctions up there as well, or you can text PSP to 41444. See, easy as pie. And I know many of you remember Pawnee and all of the great music that came from him, and sad to have that life interrupted by PSP. But you're a part of the solution. You're a part of this. And yeah, let's do this. So we have another fantastic neurologist with us tonight. Again, we move from the arts right to the art of healing. Dr. Jory Fleischer. Now, not a Texan. She's based out of Chicago at Rush University. However, she is a Texan at heart. Now, Dr. Fleischer will be talking about how time off affects caregivers. And that's what it's all about tonight. And why it's so crucial for caregivers to have that time. As a busy caregiver, leisure time may seem like that impossible luxury, but you owe it to yourself as well as the person you're caring for to carve it into your schedule. Give yourself permission to rest and to do things that you enjoy on a daily basis. Listening to music, having a nice meal, maybe even just a quick walk around the block. You will be a better caregiver for it. Now, there's a difference between being busy and being productive. Now, if you're not regularly taking time off to de-stress, recharge your batteries, you'll end up accomplishing less in the long run. Remember, rest and recharge. And after a break, you should feel more energetic and more focused, so you'll be quickly make up for that relaxation time. You'll be better in the long run. So friends, let's hear it right from Dr. Fleischer herself. Take it away.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Jory Fleischer, and I'm a movement disorders neurologist and proud to direct the Rush University Medical Center's CurePSP Center of Care. It is such an honor to join your event virtually and to be a part of everything that CurePSP does. And I wanted to take a moment to highlight why this work is so important, particularly for our caregivers, our care partners, our carers, whatever we call the folks who are taking care of a loved one with PSP and related disorders. And so here are some things that we know. We know from the research, and we know being in clinic day in and day out, is that the loved ones, the family members, the spouses, the partners, the people who take care of someone with PSP and related disorders have a very high rate of caregiver strain, of caregiver burden, of caregiver stress. There's a huge amount to manage physically, financially, socially, emotionally, to try to cope with caring for someone who is battling one of these prime of life neurodegenerative disorders. And so the strain and the burden in folks who are caregivers of people with PSP is higher than in folks, say, who are taking care of a loved one with Alzheimer's disease. And we know that people with PSP are at a higher risk of winding up in hospitals, of having significant complications. And so much of that happens outside of the clinic visit, but it happens in the home, and it's on that care partner to try to anticipate changes, to detect small things, recognize, when do I need to call someone? When do I need to call in a caregiver? When do I need to call the doctor? Do I need to call a nurse? All of these different things. When do we need to go to the emergency room? And so that strain and that burden builds up. And not only is it hard for the person living with PSP, but it affects the outcomes. It affects the health mentally and physically of the caregivers themselves. And one of the things that's been shown to be most beneficial is giving the care partner not just permission and normalizing the fact that this is hard work 24/7, but that you have to have breaks. You have to take breaks. You have to be able to get away, whether it's to run to the grocery store, just to go for a walk around the block, to do something for yourself, because the caregiver who's not doing self-care can only be a caregiver for so long. And we've seen that certainly in this last year and a half going through the pandemic, is folks who had respite care, someone coming in so that they could go out as a caregiver and refresh. Those folks did okay. And then when the pandemic hit, so many of those resources went away, and people have been inside 24/7, giving unbelievably dedicated care to their loved ones, but really suffering on their own from the isolation and that nonstop 24/7 a day caregiving responsibility. One of the things that we've been able to implement at Rush is to study the effect of caregiver peer mentoring. So what is that? Well, I know that sitting in the clinic, I've never been awake at 3 a.m. with someone with progressive supranuclear palsy and thinking to myself, is something going on? Do I need to go to the emergency room? Who do I call? I've never been in that situation myself. And so I know that the care partner sitting across from me might look at me when I say, here's what you might want to do in those situations, and go, she can't possibly understand. And that's true. But someone who's been in that situation, who's been a caregiver, absolutely will understand. And so one of the things that we are working on is designing programs to train experienced caregivers, maybe who've lost their loved one already to PSP or another prime of life neurodegenerative disease, to train them to be mentors, not only to have the knowledge of what to do, but to be able to encourage and coach and guide someone else, another caregiver, along in their journey. And so we've paired already 34 peer mentors with ongoing caregivers and watched as they go through a peer mentoring program, and have found that, yeah, people like this. The satisfaction is really high and people stick with it. We're now in our second generation of caregiver peer mentors, and it's going really well. And we're looking forward to expanding this program, testing it out, and bringing it to new populations of care partners battling all of these different prime of life diseases. So a huge shout out to you and to CurePSP for finding new and innovative ways to support the caregivers, which ultimately supports those living with these diseases. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Fleischer. It's coach and care and helping bring up that next generation of caregivers, because then the caregivers can help the professional caregivers can then help our family caregivers, give them that time, give them that peace, give them that time for healing. And you know what? Let's hear directly from some of those caregivers that have benefited directly from the Sherry Levien Respite Care Fund. Let's hear right from them.
Hello, my name is LaWanda Banks, and my family just received funding through the Cure PSP grant to assist with care for my mother-in-law who was diagnosed with PSP about a year ago. She was actually started experiencing symptoms probably 2 or 3 years ago. She went through teams of doctors and specialists ruling out other illnesses. So by the time they finally concluded that she was suffering from PSP, we actually were devastated because we were actually hoping and praying that they were going to find something that could be treated, which would allow her to get back to her normal life. So we received this funding at a time when we really needed it. I really believe that funding and raising money for this cause is very important because I'm sure there are a lot of families that are suffering and trying to provide care for their loved ones just like we were. If we had not received this grant, I do not know where we would be at this point.
My name is Tim. My wife was diagnosed with terminal PSP, and I was having quite a lot of difficulty getting out to do other things, as of going grocery shopping or cutting the lawn or whichever. It was costing me quite a bit of money, and I was having to take off work to do this. I found this one organization, Sherry Levien Quality of Life, and we got onto their list, and we tried a couple times to get this grant, and finally we did receive the grant, and which helped out tremendously. Now, they come out a couple times during the week or every other week, whichever I choose, and they really improved my life quite a bit, made things so much easier. I greatly appreciate them, so thanks a lot, and that was good.
Directly from the caregivers themselves. Now, put yourselves in their shoes and think about what that's like to hear about your wife having terminal PSP and not knowing what to do or where to turn. But then because of the Sherry Levien Care Respite Care Fund, to provide that relief, provide that, chance to just, take some moments, take some time. And that's what it's all about, friends. That is, that's true impact. That real people helping right there, providing real hope, providing real love. And we're doing that here. And caregiving can have so many rewards. For most caregivers, being there when a loved one needs you is a core value and something that they want to provide. Caregiver stress, the emotional and physical stress of caregiving is common. People who experience caregiver stress can be vulnerable to changes in their own health. And when you're under stress and you're not eating right and you're not sleeping right and you're not exercising and you're not going to your regular checkups, you're not getting the right medication, any of that, that's your own health. And now not only are, you might be hurting that patient, but you're also hurting yourself. So friends, you have this chance. Family, Texas, let's do this. So a few quotes from past grant recipients. This past August, I was very fortunate to have been awarded the Sherry Levien Quality of Life Grant, said grantee Joan Gangwer. As a sole caregiver of someone with PSP, there's a tremendous physical work involved in caring for my husband throughout the day and the night, on top of cooking, shopping, cleaning, housekeeping, laundry, doctor's appointments. The grant has allowed me time to visit with my family and friends and just take some time to rejuvenate. That's it. That's what this is all about. And another says, I was advised to take care of myself. They always say, put your own oxygen mask on first, right? And there's not enough hours in the 24 day available to take care of me in my home and him, let alone me. But thanks to your gift, thank you to your generosity, and we just saw the thermometer bump up again. We're able to provide this assistance from the visiting angels. And we've carefully budgeted the hours to make the most of your gift. The caregivers were able to provide much needed respite for me and change of pace for John. Sometimes they use the hours for doctor's appointments, to run errands, take a break for regular routines. And then one day, I used the respite break to visit an Orthodox Christian monastery. This opportunity recharged physically, emotionally, and spiritually. My husband and I are on a long and difficult journey, but whenever I use respite hours, I'm reminded of the donors that have made it possible for me to care for John at home and still maintain my health and well-being. I'm very grateful. Please accept my sincere appreciation. This says Joanne S. And Joanne paints that picture for us and shows us kind of really what that's like. And your generosity, your help, your support here is making that happen. The emotional and physical demands involved with caregiving can strain even the most resilient person, no matter how strong you are. It'll hurt you. And that's why it's so important to take advantage of many resources and tools that are available to help you to provide care for the loved one. Remember, if you don't take care of yourself, you won't be able to care for anyone else. And here at CurePSP, we want to help ease that responsibility. Now, friends, our silent auctions continues to rise as well, too. $5,700 raised in there. So keep bidding, keep giving. Click that button up there. We're going to get into the live auction here in just a little bit. We have a kind of a wine tour and also some art. That beautiful Texas rose is going to be coming up. But thank you to all of our 71 donors that are a part of this. Can we get to 100? Can we get everyone that's out there watching to maybe give again, or maybe share this with their friends on Facebook and be like, hey, I know someone with PSP. I, want you to be a part of this. This is really important because we're providing care for the caregivers. So just give a little bit. Let's throw it out there. Now, friends, this is going to still be on the YouTube page. You can continue to check that out. And again, we want to thank Tim Stayer and LaWanda Banks for being a part of our testimonial video. And this is not an easy journey to discuss. I mean, this is not easy at all. But this is a way for our community to be a part of the solution. And won't you be part of the caregiver solution? Yeah. It is. It makes it happen. Now, we're going to be doing this here in just a little bit because the gift is the gift that keeps on giving. So friends, let's keep going. Remember the magic number, $1,500, the amount of one full grant. 60 hours of care, 60 hours of rejuvenation and recharge. So let's get those bumped in there. And you're also going to get that beautiful tote bag if you can give it that $1,500 or more level. I don't want to stop you if you're thinking about giving some more, but that would help us so much. We're getting this so close to the goal. $750, 1 week of caregiving time, $200, 1 day, just 1 day. And even 1 hour, $25. How many hours would you like to sponsor here this evening and be a part of the fun, be a part of the care, and go to bed tonight knowing that you gave just 1 hour or more to, friends, family here across Texas that, need that help. Friends, let's keep going. So, we want to keep looking at this. Okay, we're going. Live auction is going to be coming up here in just a little bit. Actually, you know what? Let's do it right now. So let's keep going. Oh my gosh, John. I have to thank John. Thank you so much for your donation. And that thermometer is going to go back up. But yes, Eileen's there. Jory, that Dr. Jory was there. David Kemp, Joan, Katrina, Christine, Dakota. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you so much. Now, I'm going to go over and I'm going to pull up my chat here because I want to see how many of my friends that are out there in the chat that are ready for this live auction. Now, it's so easy to bid in the live auction. You just need to go over to the chat, just right over there, and type in the chat. I think it's kind of right there, and just put in the amount you bid. Now, yes, I am a auctioneer, like a real auctioneer, like a world champion auctioneer. And I've been doing this for quite a long time. And I love auctions and they're a lot of fun. And yeah, I'll do the fast talk. There is the art of auctioneering. Let's go. That's right. So that's all you need to do is put your bids in there and we're going to have some fun. And I'm going to count to 3 and we'll see how those bids go. And hopefully we can send someone on a great experience like this. This is the wine experience in the hill country of Texas. Our friends at William Chris Vineyards, they have the library wine tasting along with a private barrel tasting up to 6 people. 6 people. This would be with their winemaking team. You get to hang out with the people that make the wine, including a tour of the production facilities and the intimate tasting of yet to be released wines. And get this, 2 magnum of premium 100% Texas grown wine. And these are the big wines. That's right. And these will be their 2017 Hunter, a Bordeaux style. Like I told you, is a big red blend of Merlot and Malbec, as well as their 2017 Mourvedre from Lost Straw Vineyards, a red variety originating from the Rhone Valley that grows exceptionally well in Texas. That's the Texas grape. Now, both wines, again, are 100% Texas grown, as well as all the wines that they make at William Chris. Now, friends, this is like a $1,200 value. All you need to do is write your bid in the chat, and you can get that tour experience. You get the 2 magnums that are included with that. So, this is a $1,200 value. Is there anybody that wants to give $1,200? I don't know. Let's see. Anybody give $1,200? You know what? Let's do this, friends. You've been with us here this evening. You've spent some time with us. Let's do this. I'm going to give you a discount. We're going to put this on sale right now. 50% sale. All right, here we go. Who gives $600? I'm going to give 600, 600, 600, 600. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. I am 600, 600, 600. Where? I'm going to get 600, 600, 600. Where? I'm going to give 600, 600, 600. You know what? We could start at $200. Let's get going. $200. Where? I'm going to get two. It's more fun when you participate. I'm going to give 200. Wait, this just in. Now, the owner of the winery, his mom passed from PSP. So Cure PSP is near and dear to his heart and wants to offer this great experience and share their vineyard with you, share their wines with you. He also donated to the silent auction as well, too. And we want to thank Leah Durton for arranging this. And that's what it's all about. Teamwork makes the dream work. Now, friends, if we don't get any bids, look at this. Nancy, thank you. I have 200 bid. Anybody give $300? Where? Anybody give 203? 203. We haven't even paid for the wine yet. And 203, not going to get 300. John, I know you're out there. Let's go ahead and bid on this. And $200, not going to get 300. I'm going to give $200, not going to get 333. I'm going to get 3. Somebody just typed in $300 in the chat. It's so easy. I am 300. Where? I am 300. $300, not going to get 3. I'm going to get 3. And I'm going to get 3. And I'm going to get 300 there. And I'm going to get 3. Danielle. Thank you. 300, 4. I'm going to give 400. Now, this is in high Texas, friend. 400. Nancy, this is the auction. It's your turn to bid. I'm a $300. Now I'm going to get 400. Anybody get $400? I'm going to get 4. It'd be great if you give a little bit more. $400. Let's go. Anybody get 400? Where? Anybody get 400? You're going to get a bargain. Look at this $1,200 value. Go to High Texas. Hang out there at the William Chris Vineyards. This is a tasting for up to 6 people. Private barrel tasting, as well as tasting of the yet to be released wines. Oh, there you go. That's a wonderful performance. I'm at 500. I like the way you count. I am $500, 600. And I'm going to get $600. I'm going to get 5 and 6. Where? And I'm going to get $600. And I'm going to get $600. 500. Eileen, I got you. Thank you very much. And $500, 600. Where? And I'm going to get 5 and 6. And 5 and 6. Where? And I'm going to get 6. Danielle, come on back in. And $600. And I'm going to get 5 and 6. Where? Nancy, you started it. You can finish it. Let's keep going. And $500. And I'm going to get 600. Where? And everybody else, 600. There's it is. That's that half price sale that we're talking about right now. 600. And 600. I'm going to get 6. Where? Now remember, the more you bid, the more money we're raising. See how that works there? And $500, 600. And I'm going to get 5 and 6. Where? Anybody else? 600. $1,200 value for 100% Texas grown grapes. Texas home wine right here. Let's go, Texas. And $500, 6 where? And everybody else 600. Where? Everybody else 600. Well, if nobody else is going to bid, we are going to say my favorite 4-letter word. And it's not wine. It's SOLD. So when I type SOLD into the chat and I post it, the bids are done. It's all in. It's all done. This is a binding contract between me and the bidder. So let's go. 5, 6, where? Danielle, you want to get back in? $600 down here. Everybody get 5 and 6, 5 and 6. Anybody else? 600, 600. So all my friends that are watching at home, when I count to 3, I want you to say that SOLD. Here we go. Anybody else? 600, 600, 600, 600 going once. Anybody else? 600, 600, 600, 600, 600, 600, 600 going twice. All right, 600. Oh, I got to put my name in the chat here. And 600, 600. Good thing my mom made me take typing. And $500, 600 where? Anybody else? $500, 600, 600 going once. $500 and 600, 600 going twice. Anybody else? $500, 600, 600. All right, all together now, friends. Anybody else? 600, 600 going 1, 2, 3, and we are gonna be Eileen. You are going to the winery. SOLD, and it's sold right there. Eileen McFarland, congratulations. Thank you for bidding. Danielle, Janet, yep, you almost won, but you helped us raise some money. That's great. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's fun. And Eileen, have so much fun at the vineyard there. Say hi to William, Chris, and everyone over there. And I know you all have a very, very special place in your heart for PSP and all the caregiving we're giving here this evening. So, friends, let's get going. Eileen, make sure you email the events team at CurePSP to capture that item. So here we are. This one, you can't have an art event. That's right. The Hope as Big as Texas. This is a night with art and for respite care. So let's get going. Here it is. This is the painting, The Yellow Rose of Texas by Tara Mormon. Look at this. Now this is a print, not original, on watercolor paper, matted and framed. This is 11.5 by 15, image number 6,543. This is almost a $500 value, but look at this beautiful, beautiful piece, reminding us of the beauty of life, reminding the beauty of Texas. Here it is, called Renewals. That's right, friends. Renewal. And that's what we're doing here with the respite care. It's providing that renewal, providing that recharge, providing the respite. Lots of R's here. So here we go. Let's have this print by Tara Morland. Renewal. All right. So who's going to start this? The bid's at $475. Anybody get $475? 5. And a bid $475. Where? Anybody get $475? And how about $500? You know, the more that you bid, the more it's worth, right? So who get 5,000? Anybody get 5,000? Okay, 500. Everybody get $500 here, $500, 5. And you had heard about all of the other art that was happening here earlier in this program, the dance, the movement, the music, providing the art of healing. And here, art is a chance to provide that healing, to look at that, to experience it, to feel this, and have a little bit of time of renewal. That's right, taking a moment for yourself. And whomever buys this signed, matted, and beautifully framed piece, you can look at this, and every time you walk by, you can see and feel here this evening of how you were able to be a part of someone's renewal. And all you need to do is bid. All you need to do is give. All right, somebody, let's go. $250. Anybody give $250? Now I'm going to go $250. Anybody give $250? $250 where? Anybody give $250? Now I'm going to go $250. Anybody give $250? 200. Do I have someone out there for $100? Anybody else? 100? 100. Anybody but give one. You know what we're going to do here, friends? You know what we're going to do here? We are going to move this particular item into our silent auction. That's right, our silent auction, which closes Sunday at 7 p.m. So get into that silent auction. Oh, Courtney, you know what? Let's keep the auction going. 100. Never mind. Forget what I just said. We are going to sell this here tonight. And my friend Courtney G is in on right there, the renewal, the Yellow Rose of Texas. Here we go. Anybody give $200? $200. Not going to get 2. Anybody get 2? Not going to get 2. Anybody get 2? Where? My cat's looking at me. He's like, what are you saying? Anybody give 200? Anybody give $200? Anybody give 200? It's like playing horseshoes, friends. You know, Courtney threw out the first one. We need someone to throw out the second one. Come on, y'all. And $200. Not going to get $200. Not going to get 2. Look, she's daring you to bid. And $200. Not going to get 2. Let's go, Texas. And I'm going to give $200. Not going to get 2 and 2. If you don't bid, you got to give, okay? You got to hit the donate button. And $200. Not going to get 2. Anybody else? $200. On $200. Not going to get 2. Anybody give 2? Anybody give 2? Anybody give 2? We're going to go one time. Anybody else? We are going to go go 2 times. Anybody go 200, 200, 200, 200, 200. Anybody give $200, $200? Not going to get 200, 200, 200. Oh my gosh, Courtney, you might just be the winner. Here we go, going 3 times, and we're going to be going. Everybody else said, and it's going to be, all right, there we are, SOLND, and it is sold right there. Courtney G, you are the winner. You get to take home this beautiful print, and thank you so much for that donation. You know that with that $100 donation, that's 4 hours that you've helped provide of respite care, rest, relief, and recharge. Now remember, winners, email the Cure PSP team at events@curepsp.org to claim your prizes. Well, friends, we've done it. We've got together. I have to thank so many of our donors to get us close to that goal. Again, thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Katrina. Thank you, Joan. Thank you, Christine. Thank you, John. Thank you to all of our auction bidders and all of our friends that are continuing to bid in that silent auction. Don't forget, you can share that out on your social networks and share. Look at all these great pieces that are helping us raise money for respite care for those caregivers of those that are taking care of those neurodegenerative diseases. Right there, PSP, CBD, and let's keep going. So Pathway Hospice, thank you for giving. Thank you for being a generous sponsor as well. Diane, Breslow, Parkinson, Katie, yes, this is great. Jack, and so many of our donors out there. We couldn't have done it without you here this evening. Now, I am confident because I know the team right here, the family that is CurePSP, is going to continue to jump that number up. And I believe by the time that we get to Sunday, we're going to hit that goal. Because sometimes, like music, you got to sleep on it. You got to think about it and really let all of this information to be absorbed so that you can truly understand the impact of your gift. And think about that. Over 6,000 hours have been given out since 2017. And just think about the magnitude of how that has helped and how much relief that has been provided to caregivers. So let's keep going. Keep those donations going. Get your friends, get your family, get them to gather around and join us. So I want to thank you all so much for being a part of our event today. There's so many that contributed to the success of this event. And to each of you, thank you. The board, the committee, Eileen, Amy, thank you. Your team has done such a beautiful job with this. Jacqueline and the team over there at the staff, events team, thank you so much. My Wizard Studio friends, you are absolutely awesome. Thank you. But then also a heartfelt thank you to our testimonial participants. Tim Stayer, sharing your story with us about his wife. Thank you. LaWanda Banks, thank you so much for sharing that story. But friends, these are the individuals, real people. This is a chance for you as a human to help another human, to help a neighbor, to help a friend, to give that big Texas hug and wrap that around someone for just an hour, maybe a day, heck, maybe even for 60 hours. So let's keep going. Beautiful. We love it so much. Thank you again for joining our event. Please don't forget to support Cure PSP by making that gift. Let's keep that number rising. It is a significant way for offering support during this time of need. Now, each donation you help helps another family. And again, it's not the size of the donation, the fact that you are being a part of this. And you can be a part of the effort. You can be a part of the support and resources to the lives of so many in the neurodegeneration community. And we always welcome larger gifts. So now if you're thinking about making an anonymous gift, or maybe give it a level that we didn't think, or maybe you want to give in some stock, or possibly leave a legacy gift, please just reach out to our friends at curepsp.org. Great way to give, because we can serve so many and so many more. And this is your chance to be a part of funding a cure and funding that respite. Come on, let's go, friends. Let's keep doing this. And now this event is going to be available on the CurePSP YouTube page in just a few weeks. And we'll email everyone when it's ready. We'll send you the link. And you have to share that socially because, again, the need never stops. We can never raise enough money to help the caregivers that are constantly providing that love and support, because the research happening, Cure PSP is out there putting this information out in the world, and together, the team of doctors and researchers are going to find a cure. I know that, but you are a part of this team. You are so important with this. So I want to say thank you. Thank you so much. And don't forget, the silent auction is going to continue until Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Time. So please kick in your bids and keep giving, keep being a part of this. And everyone, Have a great night. Thank you, everyone. Again, my name is Bobby D with Inspire Hearts Fundraising. It's been so great to be a part of this, event. So thank you again. Y'all have a great night. Texas, big hug. I think we're going to do a little cocktail class here in just a little bit. So get your glasses ready, get your kits ready. But thanks again, everyone. Big round of applause and a big Texas hug to everyone. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. All right, we'll see you in person next year. All right, bye, everyone.
Thank you all so much for joining our event tonight. There are many people who contributed to the success of this event, and to each of you, I want very sincerely to say thank you, especially to the Texas support groups. I also want to thank those who spoke to the power the Sherry Levien Quality of Life Fund has had on their lives. It was truly moving. Now, there's an after party happening shortly, and you don't even have to leave this page to join it. We'll take a short 5-minute brain break after this event, but don't go too far. So get your cocktail kits ready, because CurePSP wants to see pictures with your drinks, friends, and family having a good time. And please post them to Instagram and Twitter using hashtag CurePSP. Don't forget to support CurePSP by making a gift. It's a meaningful way of lending a helping hand. Each donation you make helps prevent caregiver burnout. By providing even a small donation, you can be part of an effort to provide support and resources to the lives of so many in the neurodegeneration community. We always welcome large contributions, of course, but because we serve so many people and the need is so great, even the smallest contribution can go a long way. This is your chance to be a part of finding a cure. At the same time, we're caring for others. Don't forget, the silent auction will be closing shortly, so please check your bids. I hope you had just as much fun as I did this evening, and we look forward to seeing you all at the after party.
Hi, everyone. My name's Tony Formby. I'm the owner of Acre Distilling in downtown Fort Worth, Texas. You've all been very busy with your meeting, and I'm sure it's a good time for a drink. I know I could do with one. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the old fashioned. You've been sent glasses, a little bit of garnish, some simple syrup mixed with bitters. It's kind of hard to do this long distance in terms of building a cocktail, but a cocktail, the history of it dates back to the early 1800s, and basically a cocktail was a spirit like whiskey, something sweet like maybe a muddled sugar cube with water, and then bitters with a little bit of garnish. And that's basically the classic cocktail, and you can make it with a lot of different spirits. So the old fashioned started in the early 1800s as it was known as the whiskey cocktail. But over the years in the 1800s, 1850s, 1870s, bartenders have this tendency to be overly creative, let's say, and they like to mess around with things. So the simple whiskey cocktail got changed around and became quite a few different versions of the whiskey cocktail. Back in the 1890s, though, when the superstar bartenders in New York and Philadelphia started really working on cocktails, they decided to get more simpler, and they created what they called the old-fashioned, which was the original whiskey cocktail. And they brought the simplicity back. And basically, it's bourbon whiskey, which is our stuff, in terms of America's whiskey, which is primarily a corn-based whiskey. Something sweet. Now, traditionally, you would use a sugar cube with hot water, and you would muddle that in the glass, and then you would mix in your bourbon and your bitters. So you've got simple syrup like I have right here. I have bourbon. I have my bitters, my orange and my Angostura bitters, which you've got mixed into your little vial of simple syrup. And by the way, that vial has enough for 2 cocktails. So here's what we're going to do. 1.5, 2 ounces of bourbon, and I've got a big ice cube in here. And of course, you should probably be using a jigger, but I'm lazy. I'm not. So I've got my bourbon. I've got some ice in there. I've got my simple syrup. Pouring that in now as well. My bitters, a couple dashes of that one, a couple dashes of that. And then, of course, we need our garnish. So an orange peel. And a lot of bartenders, if they're really fancy, will take a little bit of the orange peel like that, just with a potato peeler, and they'll actually put a flame to it to ignite and release the oils in the orange peel. But we can just rub it around there and then put it in there. And then, of course, a cherry, but a very good cherry. You can't be using a maraschino cherry in this type of cocktail and get away with it. It'll just really not good for it. That's why Nancy has sent you some vacuum-packed good cherries. So Luxardo is one of the best cherries out there in a jar, but we use Amarone Toshi cherries as well, which are, you can get them on Amazon, actually. So we've got our old-fashioned here, and so it's time to have a sip of that. I want to get a drink in your hands early, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about the distillery. So cheers. Thanks for being here. Oh yeah, it's actually quite tasty. So our distilleries in Fort Worth, actually we're right downtown in Fort Worth, Texas, actually right behind the convention center here. We've been here for 6 years. We make 5 whiskeys, Long Hair Jim bourbon, that's our bourbon, just actually won a bronze medal at the US Open Spirits Championships yesterday. So we're kind of happy about that. We make vodkas and gins and other things as well. So we're called the Acre because our building is located in the old Hell's Half Acre neighborhood of Fort Worth. And Hell's Half Acre, back in the early days of Fort Worth, we're going back to the late 1860s, post-Civil War, this neighborhood was known as the Acre. And it was the red light district here in Fort Worth. And it was probably the wildest red light district of any of the western frontier towns. And so we've adopted the name of the old neighborhood. Some of our brands, like Long Hair Jim here, harken back to the old days. Long Hair Jim was the marshal here in the 1880s, and he was just as sketchy as the neighborhood, and the neighborhood was quite sketchy. He was friends with Doc Holliday, Pat Masterson, Wyatt Earp. They were all gunslingers, gamblers, drinkers. He ran the Acre, basically. He was one of the fastest guns in the West. But the moral of his story is don't drink and gunfight. That didn't work out too well for him in February of 1887. So as I said, the neighborhood was pretty wild, and it was 2 reasons for that. The first reason, of course, was that at the end of the Civil War, there was a big demand for beef in the Northeast, New York, Philadelphia, etc. And there was a lot of beef roaming around to the south of Fort Worth, between here and San Antonio. And 3 major cattle drive trails merged here at Fort Worth to form the famous Chisholm Trail. And Fort Worth was a rest and feeding stop on the way to Abilene, Kansas, where the railhead was. Now, we're really going back to the days of Lonesome Dove. So if you've seen the movie or read the books, it was all about those massive cattle drives from the late 1860s up until about 1910 to feed basically the demand for beef in the Northeast. So Fort Worth was a strategic location and a resting stop, and so they would herd herds of cattle through Fort Worth and let them rest and feed here for 2-3 days on their way up to Abilene. So at any given time, there might be 100,000 head of cattle resting here in Fort Worth, or just below the courthouse, and maybe 200, 300, 400 cowboys who'd been on the trail for weeks up in the Acre neighborhood, not resting so much. Basically, they were young guys, they all had horses, they all had guns, and basically they were drunk for quite a while during their stay, so it was pretty wild. Second reason it was so wild is that in 1876, the Texas Pacific Railroad made it to Fort Worth, and for several years it was the western terminus of the Southern Transcontinental Railroad. So if you were coming out west on the train back then, you made it to Fort Worth, you got off the train here. So it brought all sorts of characters: buffalo hunters, prospectors, gold miners, gamblers, gunslingers, lawmen, professional people. There was a big push for settlement, so it was bringing a lot of people out here. So you had a lot of activity going on here, and this neighborhood grew to 18 square blocks of dance halls, saloons, brothels, drug dens, and gambling dens. So not a family-friendly neighborhood. No churches in the acre, but lots of churches throughout the town of Fort Worth, because the majority of people that lived here were very conservative and very religious at the time. So you had these two very different groups of people living here in Fort Worth and coexisting all through the 1870s up into 1920, when Prohibition put this neighborhood out of business. And after Prohibition, the neighborhood was leveled, but everything went underground, and Fort Worth through the 1900s, 1940s and 50s was still a pretty wild town. A lot of gambling, a lot of drinking, but a lot of church going too. So that was sort of the heritage of Fort Worth. So we've done a lot of research on the neighborhood, thinking there'd be all these great stories we could tell our friends who come visit us at the distillery. And there are a lot of stories, but we really only tell one. And it relates to a photograph that we have hanging on our wall. It's a famous photograph of 5, look like gentlemen, but they're basically guys all dressed up wearing bowler hats. It's a famous photograph of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. And they, as you may know, were famous, very successful, prolific, never got caught train robbers and bank robbers. They robbed trains and banks all over the West, but never in Fort Worth. The reason being is that when they weren't robbing trains or banks, they spent a lot of their time living across the street from where we are located at the Market Street Hotel, right here in the heart of the old Acre neighborhood. Now, they didn't live here permanently or full time, but they spent a lot of time here. The Acre was a sketchy neighborhood. They didn't rob people here. They spent money here. And most importantly, though, law enforcement didn't really know what they looked like. So they could fly under the radar, hang out in the Acre, party, have a good time, and then take off to some western state, rob a train, bag $8,000 or $9,000 in cash, which was back then a lot of money, and then they would all scatter. There's about 20 of them, but they would all eventually find their way back here to the Acre, their unofficial headquarters. Now, robbing a train back then wasn't that difficult. Horses could run almost as fast as trains. The trains all had money on them, payrolls going out west. And of course, they were out in the middle of nowhere most of the time. So these guys robbed trains for about 5 or 6 years at will. The railroads got a little upset about it. They hired the Pinkertons, a private detective force, to catch them. And for 5 years, the Pinkertons couldn't catch them. So the significance of this photograph that we have on our wall, which is quite a famous photograph, you'll see it all over Fort Worth, is that in the late 1800s, photography was new, at least here in Fort Worth. And we had 3 locals, the Schwartz brothers, that went into the photography business. They set up a studio on the 2nd floor of a saloon downtown here, about 5 blocks from the distillery. And these guys were in town, they were partying, they were all dressed up. They decided to try out this new photography thing. So they went upstairs, had their photo taken. They were happy, they got their picture, they took it home, I guess. But what they didn't know is photographs could be copied. And the Schwartz brothers made a copy of the photo and displayed it in their studio. And sometime after that, a Pinkerton detective was in town. He saw the photo in the studio. He thought he recognized one of the guys in the photograph, a guy with a mustache called Kid Curry, bad guy. And the Pinkerton wondered who the other 4 were. So he had a copy of the photo made. And the Pinkertons compared the photo to all the wanted posters, sketches, drawings of all the people they were looking for, and they realized, that guy looks a lot like Robert Leroy Parker, Butch Cassidy. The other guy looks like his partner, the Sundance Kid. So now all the wanted posters have photographs from this picture slapped on them of these guys, and they see it, they hop a train to New York, a steamer to South America, and that's the end of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. So when you come to Fort Worth, and you visit downtown Fort Worth, Sundance Square in the heart of Fort Worth is named for Harry Lonbaugh, the Sundance Kid. And I tell my adult children that this photograph, if it's not the first, it's a very early example of social media messing up a really well-run operation. So anyway, that's the story we tell of the Acre. We adopted the name, and we have a lot of fun with it around here. Cheers. And I'm not sure, but I think that there may be some photos or something that might be put up. And if so, I'll explain what they are. You can see behind me some of our equipment, but I'm not going to move the camera around. I think if there are some photos, put them up, I can explain what they are. Oh, there we are. I see. Okay, so that's our tasting table. So that's right in the production area, and we do tastings here every Friday night, Thursday night, and all day Saturday. Take about an hour, and that story, of course, is part of the whole thing. And that's our patio out back that we recently built. We actually have a big parking lot. This photograph is taken from the parking lot that's been covered with structures to cover all the parking, and we put 320 solar panels up on that structure. So we're the only completely solar-powered distillery in Texas, one of 3 in the US. We generate 115% of our electrical needs here, and it's part of a program that we started a year ago. Of course, those are some of our whiskey barrels. The one with all the plaques on it is called the Patriot Barrel. It's a barrel of single malt whiskey we donated to Skyball, which is an American Airlines sponsored charity that's done every year, big charity, 3-day long thing that raises money for veterans and their families. So those plaques are all engraved with the names of living recipients of the Medal of Honor. And American Airlines flew them out to Fort Worth. This was 2 years ago. And they signed, everyone signed underneath their plaque on the barrel. And then that barrel was auctioned off 2 years ago, and it's been aging here ever since. And that's a view of the back of the distillery downtown. You can see the convention center. That dome is part of the original convention center. I believe it's slated to be taken down, and you can see all the hotels around us. And I think you can actually also see the solar array there in the parking lot. And that's me again. And thanks very much.